I wasn't a fast and furious driver. I didn't come from that field. A lot of ex-race car drivers do that. I don't ride motorcycles. I don't ride horses. I'm actually afraid of heights, so I never did the high falls. But because of my fighting background and being able to take a hit, because I was so small and I was a running back when I was in football. So when I got to stunts, I knew that I could fight and I could take a hit. So when you see the people fly in the air, that's probably me on the wires, flying, going into walls or landing on the ground or getting hit by a car, or going through a window or downstairs.
As a young child, Edwina Adams was quiet by nature. She would whisper when speaking. In boot camp, she was thrashed for not yelling loud enough. But when she discovered her ex-husband was a con man, she started to make noise, proving you don't have to be loud to make some noise. Now Edwina's on a mission to motivate. So kick back and tune in for candid conversations with those who have harnessed the power of their voices. Let's make some noise.
Welcome to Let's Make Some Noise, where no matter what you sound like, you can make some noise. Today I have joining me is Anthony Martins. He's a retired Hollywood stuntman and a Golden Gloves boxer turned ketchup connoisseur. He is a spokesperson for True Made Foods and their no sugar ketchup and other condiments. And we'll talk about that in a little bit for sure, because I actually recently tried it. It's amazing. But Anthony, I want to get a little personal and kind of learn about you. Is it okay if I get a little personal with you and learn about young
Sure,
Anthony?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, I like to talk about who we are as individuals and how we're making noise and showing up and doing unique things. But what were you like as a child?
Definitely making noise.
Okay.
The kid that wasn't really good at many things, but never gave up. So was always making noise with my hustle and my work ethic and practicing to get better. I played every sport you could think of as a kid growing up. And I was eating ketchup, of course. But I wasn't really that good. And throughout high school, I pretty much sat the bench in every sport that I tried, but kept practicing to get better. And I'm not very tall or very big either, so it was tough. And my favorite sport was football. So when you're not that fast or not that big, it's pretty tough. And basically, after high school, I wanted to play football in college, and everyone told me I was too small and not good enough because I sat the bench in high school. But I didn't listen to them, and I went off and I walked on and played Division II college football. Nice. If you've seen the movie Rudy, that was my story. I was a practice dummy for 3 years. And that before I even played, and I started my senior year in college. Didn't even play in high school. And then they hired me as a coach for my last year because it took 5 years to graduate. And how funny that I was getting beat up for 3 years as a practice dummy and didn't even know I was going to be a stuntman. Had no idea. It was paving the way and getting my body ready for after college. And then when I told them I was going to go to Hollywood, they said, you can't do that. Just like they told me I couldn't play college football. And while I was playing college football, I said, I'm going to start boxing. Oh, you can't do that. Next thing you know, I ended up in the Golden Gloves and did pretty well. And
wow.
It took a while for stunts, but while I was doing it, it was hard at first. And they said, see, we told you. And then finally, 7 years later, I made a 15-year career out of it after being broke for 7 years. So basically, as a kid and as I went through my life, it's all about not giving up. Don't listen to anyone, just keep going. And it's funny, while I was broke, trying to get into stunts, I was doing YouTube videos of ketchup 20 some odd years ago. And everyone told me, you're stupid, that'll never work. No one will put funny stuff on the internet. So here I am after stunts and back again and doing well with this, being the real ketchup guy and help supporting True Made Foods.
That is incredible.
Thanks. It's just basically, as a kid, don't give up. And I've kept that now till 47 years old.
So that is an incredible story. And I love that you never gave up. I'm curious, you keep saying they kept saying I couldn't do this. Are these like friends that you were in high school with, family? Who was telling you you're not going to do this?
People I was around at that time would be like, you're too small, you're not fast enough, or you can't do that. And, in today's world, it's still like that. But
it is, yeah.
if you can help just inspire people or make them laugh or just show them like anything you want to do, you can do it if you really want to do it. I
You really
wasn't
can.
supposed to be able to play football in college. I wasn't supposed to be able to box. I wasn't supposed to be able to be a Hollywood stuntman. I wasn't supposed to, what, you're 45 years old, you're going to be the real ketchup guy? That's not going to work. Well, hello. It's not even a year in, and we're doing quite well.
That's awesome. So whenever, your Golden Gloves, my grandfather was Golden Gloves
Nice.
before he went into the Navy. He actually did an exhibition match at Folsom Prison. Got a photo from that. It's really cool. But how did you get into that?
So, I told you I wasn't very good in high school, didn't play. I was on the team, but didn't play. And then when I made the jump to say I want to play in college, I started training with a lot of the high school kids before I left for that summer camp in college to get better. And then while I got there, I realized I was okay, but I wasn't that good. And I was a practice dummy over and over for 3 years straight. And then I only had one more year of eligibility to play. And I said, what can I do? I've tried everything from weights to the parachute to strength shoes. I've tried everything. So I saw two of the kids on the team fight. And I went to their fights and I fell in love. I go, that's my training. And then I started from, just learning the walk. And next thing you know, 6 months, which is way too early, they threw me in the Golden Gloves. Because I practiced every day. I loved it.
Yeah, tenacious.
I don't like fighting, but I like the chess.
Yeah. It's definitely a strategic sport. Some people think it's just like, they're not really smart about it, but it is a very smart sport. I love watching boxing.
3 minutes is a long time if you're angry, and 3 minutes is a long time if you're not thinking about what you're doing and setting up your next move or studying your opponent, trying to figure out what they're going to do so you can counter.
I can only imagine. So your boxing led into being a stuntman, and how did that happen?
Yeah, so I think when I got to LA, like I said, it was very tough. For about 7 years, I was really poor. I mean, really poor, many odd jobs, and just trying to figure out how to break in. And it's funny, I lived off a piece of bread and ketchup for 7 years. That was my meal. Because the bread was plain, but I love ketchup, so that was my sauce.
Yeah.
Well, when I finally met a stuntman and met stunt people, I said, wait, you played Division II college football? I was like, well, kind of, just my last year. I was a practice dummy. Oh, you can take hits? You should be a stunt guy. Wait, you box too? You should do the stunt fights. And I was clueless. I didn't know anything. So I said, teach me, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. And, for 7 years, I practiced and practiced and practiced and met more people. And they found, oh, that's Anthony, the little boxer, the little Rudy. Yeah, give him a shot, and then I started learning the stunt game.
What was your favorite thing to work on as a stuntman?
Just to work, because it's so hard and so difficult. That's why there's a strike right now with our union. It's very difficult. I mean, some people are lucky for 1 day of work a year. And once after that 7-year period, I was working very consistently for 15 years and got to travel the world and just work on so many cool, amazing projects. And there were some great ones, don't get me wrong. And there were some ones that weren't that fun, but I always just appreciate just to work because I was so poor for so long. And there's so many talented artists, actors, musicians, stunts that don't work at all.
Yeah, I bet.
And they're way more talented than me.
Well, so when you're doing the stunts, though, was your favorite thing to do things that were kind of fighting, boxing related, or more like, I don't know what all the categories are for stuntmen, but I'm sure there's other categories.
I wasn't a Fast and Furious driver. I didn't come from that field. A lot of ex-race car drivers do that. I don't ride motorcycles. I don't ride horses. I'm actually afraid of heights, so I never did the high falls. But because of my fighting background and being able to take a hit, because I was so small and I was a running back when I was in football, I was having, 6'4", 250-pound men faster than me, crushing me and tackling me. And I'm barely 5'7", barely 150. So when I got to stunts, I knew that I could fight and I could take a hit. So when you see the people fly in the air, that's probably me on the wires, flying, going into walls or landing on the ground or getting hit by a car or going through a window or downstairs. Yeah, or getting shot and you just fall down or tackled or whatever. So it's a crazy business, but if you can fit in and find your niche, and my niche was they call it ground pound or just wrecks or the fights. And unfortunately and fortunately, I was always the brown bad guy, whether it was terrorist or gang member.
Oh, gosh.
And there's a lot of that in the world today. So,
Yeah. You always had a role.
yeah. And there's not a lot of ethnic stunt people.
Mm-hmm.
So without a
Okay.
very big ethnic stunt pool, if you could provide a service or provide your talent, you could work. But you also had to have etiquette too. There were a lot of talented people that didn't have etiquette. You stay with the stunt team. You don't go to the actor as a director. You stay with the stunt team. When you're called upon, go do what you need to do. Go back to the team, help out. That's it.
Know your place, huh?
Correct. And for me as an athlete, it helped because it was yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir. You want me to do this? Cool. When I'm done, come back here. It was easy for me, but it was very difficult for some other people. But Hollywood can do that to people.
Yeah. It's a vicious game, I'm sure. So
Correct.
you had to have gotten some decent injuries over your career.
Yeah. So when I retired at the end of 221 at 45, I had 4 herniated bulge discs in my right lower back. I have, broken finger. That's after surgery. I had 13 staples in my head. Yeah, it's pretty. Oh, and a torn labral in my right hip.
Dang.
Because we're really going to concrete. We're really getting hit by cars. We're really going through windows. It's not all CGI. And there's no mats. You hide whatever pads you can hide behind your, whatever thug outfit you're in for the day. And then you hope those pads work. Because you're going to the pavement. It's not just once. Sometimes they're 13 takes.
That's a lot. That's impressive that you did it for that long,
Yeah.
So during this same time, you're also doing these YouTube videos about ketchup. How did that happen?
So the 7 years trying to break in, just being really poor and many odd jobs or whatever, I was an extra where a lot of people start, the people in the background, and someone saw me eating ketchup while, offset. And they thought, are you kidding me? Are you being funny? No, that's how I eat it. You should do a commercial. You should do this. And I was trying to think of ways to get known or whatever. And one of my buddies said, do a YouTube video. And I did it. And then I asked my dad. My dad used to be in sales and he had marketing friends. So through high-level marketing people to friends or people around, they were like, that's silly. That's stupid. That'll never work. No one does that on the internet. But this is, 20 years ago. So I was just ahead of the time. But it's kind of funny. Then I finally break in and do stunts and come back. And that's what everyone does now.
So, yeah, I love that you're talking about marketing because, following your TikTok, I really respect the marketing that you do because, can you see my shirt? It happens to say everything is marketing. And
That's
I've got
awesome.
a friend. It's a
That's a great
saying, my
shirt.
friend. Thank you. A friend in business. He does business coaching and stuff, but that's his thing. Is like everything is marketing.
Yep.
And I see what you're doing, and everything you're doing is marketing. And I
so
love
much.
it. So I get now why you're so good at it because you started a long time ago, and it's some things have come naturally. You've probably learned some things along the way.
My degree was in business and marketing.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
And what's interesting, when I got the stunts and when I was so broke, when everyone gets to LA, they think you have to be a pretty boy. And when I finally learned how the game worked, I made pictures as a gang member, as a terrorist. And that's how I started working. Not the pretty boy leading man pics or stuff. And that's all marketing.
Yeah, that is
And
super
then
smart.
flooded
It is
those
marketing.
pictures everywhere. Isn't that crazy? 'Cause you're absolutely right. Marketing is everything. And then, of course, you have to show up and do the job. But to get in the
Right.
door, you need marketing.
You do. Yeah. You can't make a sale without marketing. So, and you were selling yourself without marketing. So it sounds like you've been good about using your voice, because it's not that you were quiet when you were younger. You had people tell you it couldn't be done, but you said, screw you, I'm going to do it anyway. And you just kept pushing, right? All along the way, people were just telling you it can't be done, but you showed them otherwise. And then with your marketing, you were smart enough and had the knowledge to use your voice, and that even came in the form of taking pictures of yourself as a gang member and as a terrorist to sell yourself for those roles.
Yeah.
So,
and a boxer.
yeah, there you go, and a boxer. But have you ever had a time where you struggled to use your voice?
Yeah. I went through a kind of I don't know. Yeah, I know you went through a situation, and I kind of went through kind of the same thing. So I felt like with that, I wasn't able to use my voice. And even after this situation, I felt like I wasn't able to. But it's fine because I think if I did, it wouldn't be good. It's a waste of breath.
Yeah. Some stories, I just made a post about this the other day. Some stories take a while to tell, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it took me 16 years to start talking about my past. And
wow. Well, that's inspiring.
Yeah, that first video I made on TikTok and that was talking about that. That's kind of what stemmed this whole let's make some noise thing, is because
I love it.
It was time to make noise. But for 16 years, it was okay that I didn't, because there was a lot to process, and there still is. You know, it's still a journey, but when the time is right, you'll know it, and that's okay. So take your time, for sure.
Well, it's been 5 years, but I got conned too, and it's not fun to happen to anyone. So, like I said, when we talked on TikTok, God bless you. I'm sorry that happened, but I'm sure you're stronger. And you've been through it longer than I have. I'm only in my 5th year, and I feel like I have been getting stronger. And I love what I'm doing now, and it's happy. It makes me happy. And if I make other people happy while I do it and laugh, win-win.
Exactly. And that's the thing about life, good or bad, you know, the things that happen to you, you'll be okay as long as you can learn from them and move on.
It's tough, though. You and I can tell are too nice. And calm people look out for people like us.
They do. But once you know what's happened, once you realize it, you see the clues. And if you're like me, I listen to my gut now. Like I used to kind of think that was not as wise, you know, that like up here was more important. But honestly, what you feel in your gut, that's where it's at.
What do they say? Your gut will never lie?
Yeah, your mind is very deceiving. So I've learned a lot, and it's actually helped me in a lot of future things, for sure.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate this podcast. I appreciate your page, and I just appreciate you as a person, because it'll help a lot of people. And if I can make one person smile in a day, I've had a good day. Well, of course, just getting out of bed is great, but just helping someone out or making someone smile, that's pretty cool.
Well, thank you. Well, you are doing a good job. And you caught my attention with your marketing, because I was walking through the store and I actually saw this True Made ketchup, what I love, because you're always talking about it. There's no sugar, and it's like vegetable base.
Fruits and veggies, and it's veteran owned. We got to help promote and help our veterans. Right.
So I appreciate that as well.
We wouldn't be able to use our voice without them or do anything. They fight for us. So it's pretty cool they're doing that and doing it healthy.
It is true. I'm sure they are very happy to have you on their team. So over this past year, what would you say is the most challenging thing that life is teaching you right now?
The most challenging thing for me, you're going to laugh. I was against social media. I didn't have any pages before.
Really?
The Real Ketchup Guy. Like I had that YouTube, but I don't even think it was mine. I mean, I was a slow learner. I didn't have email until I don't know how long. I was borrowing my friends for odd jobs. I just wasn't in touch with that world. And then finally, slowly but surely, when I started working in Stunts, I had to get email. I couldn't have a pager anymore. I had to get a cell phone.
Pagers.
But I think the most difficult was learning what pages to be on. What's a story? What's a post? What's a reel? What's a hashtag? What's a tag? All that kind of stuff. That was really challenging. And now they keep adding new ones. Now Threads is up. I'm like, what? So that was the most challenging for me because I wasn't on it and never really did it. I was just happy to work as a stunt person. I didn't think I needed to promote it or anything. Not against people that do, but that was just me. They used to call me No IG Ant.
That's funny. Social media it's a lot. I mean, it's always evolving. There's so much to keep up with and learn, but it is powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
look and you don't even have to. I think what makes it the most powerful is being authentic. And I love that because I love that. Well, that's what I love about this generation that's coming up, is that they see through all the fake, phony advertising, and they're just trying to find the authentic people out there, whether it's in business or just other things. And so that's great for people like me who are ready to just be like, you know what? Yeah, let me just tell you my authentic story because I'm ready to talk. And you don't, I know for me, it just felt like there's going to be somebody out there that's going to be okay with me talking about this. And whereas I think 10, 20 years ago, I think people would have been like, oh, you're kind of oversharing. Like, don't do that. And that's also how I would have felt. But it's nice that those barriers are being torn down to where you can just be authentic and like, you know what, like life is messy and things happen, but here's what I learned from it. And here's why I want to tell you so it can help you, hopefully.
That's awesome. You caught my attention and it inspired me, and I'm glad you're doing it. When I was going through all of it and stuff, and seeing therapists or whatever, all the doctors say you're going to help someone someday. And at that time I was like, I was too hurt. And then I started seeing it, and you're already doing it. You did it for me. And I know probably I did it for someone else. I think someone messaged me today, like, thank you. I look for no sugar ketchup, your company or their products all the time now, because I've eaten so much sugar. That meant the world to me.
Yeah.
And I love money, but that was better.
That's awesome. Well, that kind of leads me into my last question for you, Anthony, is what legacy do you aspire to leave with your voice?
Obviously, like what we started with, never give up. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. Like you and I talked about, go with your gut. Doesn't matter what you do. If you're passionate about it, if you really want to do it, you'll do it and you'll make it happen. It'll be messy. It might be like this, but if you really, really, not kind of. A lot of people say, I wanted that and it didn't work. No excuses. Whatever you want, if you're passionate about it and you're genuine, authentic, if you really want to get there, you'll get there. So don't give up. And just be kind. A lot of people are so mean these days. It's cool. You can be left. You can be right. You can be middle, gay, straight, bi, what. I don't care. But just be a good person and be nice. And I might not agree with some of your opinions. You won't agree with mine, but we're still going to be homies. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I don't know. Just be nice, make people laugh, help people out, have a good time. Don't take life too serious. I mean, there are times you have to. Just smile.
Yeah, I love it. I agree with all that.
And stay true.
Stay true, right? So, Anthony, where can people find you online if they want to connect with you?
Well, obviously, I have my website, therealketchupguy.com. But I'm on, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, LinkedIn. The Real Ketchup. I had to get that brand everywhere.
The guy that doesn't like social media. He's on all the platforms.
Well, that was Anthony Martins. This is
the Real Ketchup Guy.
Yeah, this is the Real Ketchup Guy.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking with you, and I consider you a friend. We became fast friends, and it's awesome. So
yeah, thank
hopefully I'll meet you in person one day.
That would be great. Where are you located?
I'm in Texas, Central Texas.
Okay, great.
College Station, to be exact.
Van Nuys, California.
Yeah, awesome.
Can I plug TrueMadeFoods.com if you want to find their products?
Yeah, definitely.
TrueMadeFoods.com, and they are on Amazon too.
It really is good.
And all you have to do is punch in your zip code, and you'll find the nearest store, like Edwina did, or online.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For everyone else, you can find me at edwinaadams.com. You can book me as a speaker, or you can find all my social media channels on there as well. Thank you so much.